Guys, Tim Morse with Tactical Response. I want to talk about a subject. We just got off a big motorcycle trip, probably 18 bikes, sometimes 18. We had a few drop off and a few add on the trip. But I want to talk about preparedness for a cross-country trip, no matter what you're in. And I'm going to use a car as an example. Bikes are more specific, but for most people, it's going to be a car or a truck. They're going cross-country. So some of the things that you need to do for this trip before you make the trip, I don't care how long it is. I don't care if it's 3 days or it's a month. You don't want to break down on the side of the road or have issues like that. You want this trip to be pleasurable and not end up in a garage someplace that you're not used to. You know, take it to a gas station garage to have your car worked on or your vehicle worked on. So let's talk about some pre-trip planning before you actually get in the car and take off on the trip. So vehicle pre-trip, check the tires. Come on, guys. That gets you up and down the road. If you've got bald or bad tires, if you can't afford to replace those tires, you can't afford to go on this trip. Just that simple. So check your tires, check the air pressure. If the tires are good, check the air pressure in them. Go with the manufactured air pressures. It'll be on the side of the tires. Oil and fluid checks and or change. So if you're close to needing an oil change, these quick oil change places all over the country. If you don't want to do it yourself, just drive it in there, have it changed before you go on this trip. Also check the radiator, check the coolant to make sure the coolant's good to go. The coolant does wear out, guys. It does get to the point that it's not doing what it's supposed to. So coolant flush or coolant replacement might be necessary. Spare tire. The donuts in most small cars now, and most cars shipped today have this little donut tire. It's good for emergency. I think they recommend like 50 miles is all you're going to get on that tire. It's not going to be the same size tire as your regular tires. So it's going to look stupid, but it will get you someplace. If you're going to run with that, make sure you check the air pressure in it and make sure it's good to go. What you would prefer to do, or what I would prefer to do, would be to go to a junkyard and get a rim that fits your car and a full-size tire, a new full-size tire, and mount it instead of the little donut tire. But you can get by with a donut. A proper jack. And what I mean by that is most of these cars nowadays are sold with what we call a scissor jack, if you know what it looks like. It's designed to jack that car up with nothing in it. I know James for years and years and years, his truck may weigh 5,000 pounds, but I guarantee he's got a couple extra 1,000 pounds of gear in it. And you probably will too with your car. So what I would replace that scissor jack with would be a bottle jack that you can get from Harbor Freight or anywhere. And I would double the poundage that it can lift. If your car, the gross vehicle weight on your car says 4,000 pounds, make sure you got a bottle jack or something that would jack that car up twice that amount. So an 8,000 pound jack. I would probably go with a 10,000 pound jack, bottle jack, because it's one of the main tonnages they sell, and you can get them anywhere. Check your battery. This is very, very important. That battery has a load value and it should be load tested to make sure it's in good working order before you go off. You don't want to get up in the next morning, go out and check your car, and it won't start because you got a dead battery. Along with a dead battery, we'll talk about that in vehicle equipment, but windshield wipers, check your windshield wipers. There's nothing more aggravating than you getting in a rainstorm and the windshield wipers are so worn out that they won't actually let you see out the windshield. So check those. It's best to take your vehicle mechanic for these checks if you don't want to do it yourself or you're not capable of doing it yourself. But you should be able to do certain things with this car automatically, such as being able to check the oil, water, and check your tire pressures. Those three things are the minimum things that you should be able to do on your own to check those things on a daily basis. Most cars don't burn a lot of oil. The modern cars won't. But if I'm on a road trip, I'm going to check that every day with my motorcycle when we're on this motorcycle trip. Even though I'm with a pack of guys, and if I needed oil, there was oil there. I check the oil every day. So those are vehicle pre-checks, and you should do these before you take off on that trip. Let's talk about vehicle equipment. Stuff that you need in the vehicle to get you down the road and if you have any problems along the way, that you can be prepared to fix on your own without any assistance. First thing is a fire extinguisher. I want a good sized fire extinguisher that can put out a fire. These little bottle fire extinguishers you see that are about this big, they're useless. They won't put anything out. So get a good one. Get a good one that's made for putting out gas fires, not a water fire extinguisher that just spreads it. Get a good one, a good size one, and stick it someplace that you can readily get to. Battery jumper cables. I want a good set of jumper cables in case I do have to jump this car off. Air compressor. Air compressors for airing tires up. Most of them will plug into a cigarette lighter or clamp onto the battery. James has got a real good one. We used it several times on this trip. So get a good one that will air up tires, and naturally have a pressure gauge and a good one. I've learned my lesson about cheap pressure gauges. I bought a $3 pressure gauge and aired up Joey's motorcycle tires, and there were about 10 pounds difference in what the thing said and what it actually was in it. So I went ahead and bought a better one that actually reads true. So get a good pressure gauge. Tire plug kit. If you're running tubeless tires, most tires nowadays are tubeless. A good tire plug kit, and know how to use it. You can look on the YouTube. It'll show you how to use these things. Be able to plug a tire. And if you slash a sidewall or something, that's not going to be pluggable. You have to replace it with your spare tire and go replace that tire completely. But a plug tire kit, they say after you plug a tire, get rid of it. But I don't know about that. I ran miles and miles on a tire that's been plugged, as long as you do it properly. 500 mile an hour tape, the good Gorilla tape, if you will. It's amazing to me that people don't carry that, and that's one of the easiest things to fix, like a cracked radiator radiator hose. The hose needs to be replaced, but to get you someplace to replace it, that 500 mile an hour tape will do the job. Dry it up, wrap the crap out of it, and pour some water in it. It will get you to a place where you can get a replacement hose for that. Zip ties. Zip ties are good to have if you have any body molding or anything in the way. Zip tie will usually secure it out of the way, where you can get a gas can. Next thing is a gas can, and I'd say at least a 5-gallon gas can. I'm talking about the good gas cans, the good military jerry cans that has a seal. You can put it inside the car. They don't smell if the seal is good. And the way to keep the seal good, from time to time, I take a little bit of petroleum jelly and rub on the seal, because the petroleum jelly won't contaminate the fuel, but to keep that gasket with some keep it from drying out. Along with a gas can, a siphon hose. Now you can go old school and just cut up a garden hose, but I prefer one called the Super Siphon. It's sold, I know it's sold at Lowe's because that's where I bought mine. It's in the plumbing section. It's got a brass fitting on one end and a clear hose on the other. The brass fitting goes in the fuel you're going to draw from, and once you get it in there, you just shake it once or twice and it picks up the siphon. The old days of siphoning with your mouth and getting a bunch of gas in it, you don't need to do that anymore, so I keep a Super Siphon hose in my truck. Bottled water or water. You can carry MCI 5-gallon can, but it's more convenient to carry a case of water. Just go by Walmart, bought a 24-pack of the bottled waters, and have them in the car for emergencies. And also, keeps you from having to buy them at 7-Eleven and pay $2 a bottle for them. Emergency rations. If you get stuck someplace, say you do this in the winter and you get stuck in a snowstorm, you want something to eat to get you by. You can survive, yes, you can survive 3 weeks without food. You can't survive very long, 3 days without water. So the water's there, but to keep the kids from getting cranky, or, have some emergency rations in there. And one other thing for the water, electrolytes for the water. Water's not enough. We know this from working on the range in the hot. If you just keep drinking water, it doesn't replace electrolytes you're losing, you're sweating out. So electrolytes, whatever form you want to get them in, powdered form where you can just add to the water, whatever. Another thing in the vehicle is a Rescue Me. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a seatbelt cutter and a window punch. What I do, I hang one in my vehicle from something In my case, I hang it from a grab rail on the passenger side. You should be able to reach it from any seat. If you flip that vehicle over and you're trying to get out and the seatbelt won't release, or you can't get the window open, a seatbelt, a cutter on the Rescue Me, and a window punch will get the job done. A small toolkit, something like screwdrivers and common wrenches, stuff, like a wrench that will fit the terminals on your battery in case you had to take it off, clean them up, or replace the battery. Standard Phillips and slot head screwdriver for tightening clamps and things like that. And if you have like a power steering pump get loose, you need a wrench to fit that and a pry bar to tighten it back up. Things like that. The last thing on the list, and this is real important to me, is a long gun in the car. And what I mean by long gun is whether it be a shotgun or a rifle. Now, I want a way to secure it when I'm away from the vehicle temporarily, such as going to get something to eat or fuel in the car or something like that. Things that I think about for that is cable locks that they use on bicycles, the cable, put it through the gun and cable lock it to the base of the seat, the struts underneath the seat. Better way to do it, if you have it, is a lockable drawer or a truck vault. I know a lot of trucks are using truck vaults now where you can put stuff in there and lock it. Now, once I get to my destination, such as a hotel for the night, I want some way to concealable take that gun into the hotel. I want it with me in the room. I'm not leaving it in the vehicle overnight. The cable locks and the vault drawers are just for you doing something temporary, such as eating or fueling, or maybe going to see something you want to look at along the way. But I want that long gun in the hotel with me. There's a lot of other things and this equipment here I'm talking about is specifically for the vehicle. This is in addition to your EDC equipment, such as your flashlights, your carry guns, your bug out bag. All those things are going to be in the vehicle as well. This is just in addition to those things. The one thing I left off there that I think is real important that I haven't mentioned yet is VOX, emergency kits to stop bleeding, blood loss, clear airway, and pneumothorax. So those are going to be in the vehicle. I treat those like the Easter Bunny does eggs. I put them everywhere. There's going to be one in my glove box. There's going to be one in the center console. There's going to be a med bag in the vehicle as well. It's probably going to be some of those on your EDC equipment and your bug out bag. But you can't carry enough of those. I treat those, I just want them everywhere. And that also has tourniquets in it and other things that you'll need. So this is just give you a rough outline on what you should have before you go on this long trip. And I can't emphasize this enough, guys. If you want your trip to be carefree and not be broke down on the side of the road, it behooves you to do these checks on the vehicle before you ever take off with it and have this stuff in the car with you. Yes, it's going to be a pain in the butt if you puncture a tire, but if you can fix it on the side of the road by yourself without any help, that's going to make the trip a lot more easy on you. Even if you have, AAA and stuff like that. AAA is great. I'm not saying anybody not to get it, but you may wait on the side of the road 2 or 3 hours for AAA to come, and all they're really going to do is load the car up on a rollback or something and take it to a local mechanic. And I would like to avoid that at all costs, because it's going to put a crimp in your trip if you only have so much time to do this trip. And you don't want to be sitting at a cheap hotel, waiting for your car to get fixed and them charging an enormous amount of money because they don't know you and they don't care. You're just a paycheck to them. So these things that you should do before you go on this road trip to try to make it easy on yourself. Thanks for watching. Remember, your responsibility be ready for the fight never ends.